Caparzo and Snow running the show. We're gonna let you know what the hell's going on. We got Taco, Crush, then Cito on the artillery rush, then Satchel, then disqualified. Word TB didn't even try. Hey, hey, this is the Caparzo and Snow show. Hey, hey, and now you know. Hey, this is the Caparzo and Snow show. Hey, hey, and now you know. Got the weekly news of hell let loose. You can use it to make the best of your life. We got Taco, Crush, then Cito on the artillery rush, then Satchel, then disqualified. Word TB didn't even try. Hey, hey, this is the Caparzo and Snow show. Hey, hey, and now you know. Hey, hey, this is the Caparzo and Snow show. Hey, hey, and now you know. Caparzo and Snow running the show. We're gonna let you know what the hell's going on. We got Taco, Crush, then Cito on the artillery rush, then Satchel, then disqualified. Will TB didn't even try. Hey, hey, this is the Caparzo and Snow show. Hey, hey, and now you know. Hey, hey, this is the Caparzo and Snow show. Hey, hey, and now you know. Hey, hey, this is the Caparzo and Snow show. Hey, hey, and now you know. Hey, hey, this is the Caparzo and Snow show. Hey, hey, and now you know.
Is going to get the rocket out. Takes out the garrison and a large amount of them. And really teetering on the edge is, oh my god!
That's so many dead bodies. Oh la la. Yeah, the big shot, the petit sachet, the particular sachet.
Oh, no! Hello and welcome to a special Sunday night edition of The Insiders. I'm one of your insiders, Caparzo, joined by my co-insider, Snow. You guys are already killing us with the comments tonight with the WWE.
It's so fucking funny.
So, Snow, we wanted to do a special episode tonight. We had two massive matches this far in the Summit tournament, and, you know, it'll help lessen the load and get more shine on the other matches that have occurred that we'll still be reviewing in a regular episode this week. So, Snow, man, we're going to start with Six and Exo, but why don't you just give us a quick rundown of how that match went from your perspective? You tanked during it, and, we certainly caught you on the broadcast.
Yeah, man, it was intense game to say the least. From the cap getting swayed, I don't know, 10, 15 times it seemed like, going back and forth. But we could just never get over that hump until the very end. But man, it was hell. EXO gave it everything, and so did we to try to take it. So it was a hell.
Yeah, we're gonna go into a more detailed analysis here. So, you know, just to for everyone out there who maybe didn't catch it and is gonna watch it with us here tonight, Six as the Germans defeated EXO as the Allies 3-2 on Stalingrad night with Carriage Depot. So we're gonna get straight into that. What do you think, Snow? And just kind of break it down. Actually, you know what? One thing to do before we get into it, let's check out some of just some stats from the match. We do have that from the server last night, so there's a couple things that I definitely wanted to talk about in these stats as we look at them as a image here. So artillery. I mean, I just put Zito's card in here because it just told all the stories that I want to tell. Poor Trill, 31 deaths to artillery is just brutal on the meat grind, and I'm sure he just shut off his PlayStation afterwards and just went to bed. That is brutal.
Dude, I would have unspeakable things to my setup. That was if I was Trill. But I mean,
Yeah.
Jesus.
The armor as well. So you played armor 121 to the Allies to 62 as the Germans. So what do you say there? I mean, you guys kind of on the armor side struggled in comparison to artillery and regular infantry.
Honestly, it's mainly because we realized like we got 45 minutes left in the game that we just were going to play hard cap, and our sightlines were not obviously as good as Exo's, but that's just a credit to Exo's armor. I mean, I think Exo's armor is top notch. I mean, they were in spots that was crazy to kill. So the few times we did kill their tanks, it was because they had pushed up to try to help save the cap. But I mean, that's credit to Exo's armor. Amazing job. But we just played hard cap, and I was out without ammo for like 15 minutes at the end.
Yeah, and I'm just pulling up on the side here the stream so we can get things started. But let's just go into it. So we had Don Gotti on the call last night, and Don Gotti was on the Exo side of things. So everything we'll be seeing, blue is the Allies, and red will be the Axis. So let's just dive in here, and we'll watch it kind of on like a 2x speed and be able to catch all the action here together. So I'll make this larger. So jumping in right here at match start.
On this push, we've got Exo in blue tonight. We've got
We'll lower that down.
Forget about it in the chat. It's funny. I don't know if I haven't watched the very, very beginning yet, so I want to see if they catch the snipe that Exo does.
Ooh, rockets coming in. Rockets going out. Rockets coming in. Rockets away. This is what we're talking about, folks. Snow's right now popping out. Perfect choice of word there.
Doesn't look like we're gonna catch the snipe off the jump here.
It was that rocket though. That one shot took the truck out.
We got blue from the distance. You see a truck coming in. The rig doctor, Jack Banksy. Fly guy OG popping out.
So right off the jump, where are you in this picture, Snow? Or like
we are hauling ass with Deluxe, like trying to get to that same spot that we played later in the game on hardpoint, right behind that like wood pile. But we get hit in the ass with a rocket, so we're like stuck. But,
Yeah. So you're in the starting Lux just hauling it. Is that you right there?
No, I'm back there. If you can see back, looks like it's getting shot at. We had lost our motor. Exo got a rocket behind us.
Wow.
We were like stuck on a train car. I don't
So
know how we didn't die.
They had a rocket out on you guys that early.
Mm-hmm. When we were on our way to our spot.
Couple guys for 6 on the backside here. Tate, Warlock, Cross.
But yeah, definitely lost that whole presence on the north because of that truck.
Not all the marbles, but this is a pretty important match tonight we got here, folks. We've got the winner of this guarantees their spot in the Summit tournament.
And we finally got up.
One of each teams going to go ahead and progress tonight. The other one is going to have to try and
So Cap goes to Exo right away. So what do you guys think? Did you guys come in thinking that it was going to be a Exo Cap first, and like did that determine what you guys were doing in your light tank at the start? Because that's obviously an important position to be in as one of the light tanks.
crazy assassin as well.
Well, we came in here thinking we were going to get the Cap first with the armor presence, obviously in the hard Cap. We thought we would be able to push through. But yeah, losing that truck and losing, he's not really showing it, but we did lose some OPs very early on that was in the north. That you could see those 3 dots on the very north there. But we ended up losing that OP, so it kind of became a stalemate from the jump.
And this is something we'll see throughout the whole game, Snow, but the pressure that you guys constantly maintained, what was that like, on a squad level, on a command level, comms-wise? Because, one of the things that happens sometimes is you smell that blood in the water, and things like what you're seeing where Exo is able to get pressure on the 4th, and you're so wound up because you've been getting constant cap pressure for 20 minutes, or much later it'll have been 20 minutes. But how do you guys stay disciplined in that? Like, what's this comms like? What do you guys do thinking
I mean,
in those moments?
credit to Malarkey in command chat. Very first time since I've been in the sixth that he was commanding, and he was like super calm. But internally, like on a squad level, I know it was crazy because at least in my tank, man, it was crazy work. We were just screaming like, God, why can't we take this point? It's like at one point we were like, we can't do anything more. It seemed like, but that's how it was. But in red chat, it was very, very calm.
So there was even a couple moments when like I was watching it where I thought for a second, I'm like, okay, like there's sixth kind of like pushed back for the first time. Like EXO will get some breathing room here. They can dig in and like, you know, set everything up the way that they really want it to be. And what ended up happening was Don Gotti would rotate the camera a little bit, and all of a sudden the south was fine, what you were just looking at, but then you would see the whole middle. And as we see the tank here,
luckily that wasn't me. That was our infantry that was just spawning. But
that tank, when I saw that, I was like, oh, he went from being in such a good spot and like pushing the hard cap to showing his belly and getting taken out like that.
yeah, I mean, EXO, at least right off the rip, you can see that they're sending a lot of guys on the north side. We're trying to counter it as well. They get a tank behind us and kill our Lux right off the rip. But they do such a really good job.
It's actually an opportunity here to just take a look at the map next time he flashes it. So this is EXO's perspective, of course. So, you know, what we're seeing here is like a massive just dish of them preventing anything from happening in front of them. But you guys are so held up here and
right
here
there.
and here. Like the pressure is just immense, and in such a big cap circle that exists, you guys have a lot of room to work with.
Yeah, and let me tell you, EXO used every inch that they could between placing MGs down, like shooting under the tracks. I think Major Wood said it earlier. He was like, this felt like the battle of Stalingrad with like Russians hiding under cars and everything else, because it was at one point when we had lost that tank and we were waiting for fuel, I hopped in backpack squad and was just under a train car with an MG just shooting it. It was so ratty.
And you see just how many EXO are just in the strong cap here. Like just over here is probably like over 30, you know, strong cap weight. It's insane. And then Sugar Squad doing a really good job here. They were kind of dipping in and out of the strong cap here and kind of putting on that slight pressure.
And see how early we knew they were going to do this, but we expected this soon. But it's not even 10 minutes in the game yet. I don't think they already got an OP and supply truck back there.
Yeah, they got everything dropped out here, the supplies.
Like credit to EXO for that was definitely concerning, because at one point they came and wiped our Gary's. Hey, we don't have the 6th POV as well.
Yeah, still though, I mean, really just a meat grind here on the midpoint. The nighttime kind of betrays how crazy this area was.
Yeah, I mean, we had a whole class on how to set your monitor up for nighttime. It was for this map.
Yeah, you should never feel bad about going 200% brightness in a match like this. You getting a shout out there, Snow, from the Don himself?
Maybe. One time he catches me getting stuck between the train cars. I couldn't fit.
Oh yeah, when you were jumping up and down.
Yeah, I was lagging. I was so mad at that point.
There was a moment during the Legion EXO game, I think it was on like Smithers' stream, that Angry Devil was trying to jump up and down over the ledge, which I'm sure he had done previously during the match, but it just was not having it when he was trying it during in that particular moment.
Yeah, it was at some points it felt like a complete Blueberry game.
Yeah, I mean, look at this, just a wave of 6 going up to these train cars, and then it's just a clash of a train car width apart, these battles.
This was one of the moments where I was like, why are we not taking it? Because on our side, it looked like our entire front line was past the circle. We were like, why isn't this point coming? But it was almost shoulder to shoulder fighting.
Yeah, and obviously you see all the artillery dropping. Zito was just on point this game, putting on honestly one of the better artillery performances I would imagine we've ever seen, especially on like a map that you don't typically think of as an arty map with Stalingrad. Obviously, we don't think of Stalingrad much as a competitive map to begin with, but just you can see like every single time that there's a spawn, like one person's going down at least, and like for morale, like that guy's in. You try not to do it, and you know I certainly am guilty of doing it, but like when that shit just happened to you over and over again, like it's hard not to just like be like start cursing and be like stupid artillery like again, and you know. Keeping positive vibes is something that's underrated in these matches, and it's something I try to do, but in those moments, man, it's hard to keep your cool.
Yeah, and I mean, you look at the time, it's an hour 12 left in the game, but we've had 2 recap attempts so far, and EXO is just continually flooded back through. I mean, at this point, everything was quote-unquote scripted. Like, we had our recap plans and such, so... But
now it's just
going. After this, it was like anything. It was
blueberry
like, hell.
Yeah, you can see another recap attempt. So this is like the 4th or 5th time here in the last, you know, little more than 20 minutes that we've had this happen. It's just incredible.
Yeah. At some points, man, we would gain like the north and then lose the south, and then EXO would get some pressure on fourth. We'd pull some guys back, but constantly getting under these train cars, and we're just like, man, why can't we not take this point?
Yeah, Bill says I crash out every game on behalf of Caparzo. Yeah, we definitely have our moments where, you know, like during the heat of the game, you just say the least amount of words to get the spirit of and like, you know, message of what you're trying to say, and then after the game you're like, you know, sorry dude, I didn't really mean to snap at you there. It was just like, you know, when I yelled AT gun now, you know, and then maybe an expletive or two, I just wanted you to know that I really needed that like right now. It wasn't a you thing.
I hate he can't hear it, but yeah, like the blue chat comms.
This is
we
a
were
good
sitting
play
back
here.
there in the back.
Watching this one was a good play. I don't know if the TC ever saw that for EXO. So Drew 8Q, really good play there.
Yeah, Drew BQ. So he is like 580 pounds, probably the heaviest competitive Hell Let Loose player.
Oh, you're trying to just dodge that label there.
Yeah, well, with Drew, anything's possible.
That was a really good satchel there, like just skirting on the side of the thing. I think it was the TC might have not even been in the tank when he did it. So by the time he was like running away, the TC really had no idea. When they got KIA screen, they had to be like, was that a tank? Like what hit us?
Yeah, I feel like that's one of your worst fears. Like you're just tanking, everything's fine, and then boom, it's black screen.
Yeah, with no explanation. And then you have to sheepishly ask for another tank.
Yeah, man. But see, as soon as we would gain a little bit on that north, EXO's coming and taking the ground right back.
And that trench in the middle is like hell, dude. Like it's just like enough of a chaos like creator as you try to cross between them that you have these insane battles.
Not even to mention, they have barbed wire as well. So there's 2 stretches of barbed wire on the north and the south that is also hell getting through for both sides.
I thought about that like when I was watching it back earlier today, is that, you know, not that there was any moment to do anything other than die to artillery, but a couple barbed wires there for either team, like you're not gonna get through that, or at least, especially with the arty going. So if you're able to just get it down, it'd be pretty good.
We tried at one point to get some barbed wire down, but as soon as because we thought we were going to take it, hell, we were dropping supplies, and then they would just somehow find a way to hold the point.
So again, this is more cap pressure you guys have over here. I'm just trying to look for when there's Snow's right right nut over there, flashing by us on the screen. We had quite a few Snow impersonators this match. So here with this recon tank, it's just a solo. Is that just a guy taking the free fuel?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
free default.
Yeah.
Trying to everything was about hard cap. Like
You see that a lot
at this
now.
point.
Yeah.
We were just because the tank a little bit heavier on the hard cap, so we were just like get up there, and then if anything, the crewmen can come and hop in it.
Right.
It's actually understated how big that cap circle is because
No, it's massive. It really is. Yeah.
so like right where that wood pile is the start of it, and it's
And
all the way back to where
this here is like a really great attempt on cap. Look how many guys you guys have up like right inside the cap, all over here.
and see the point's not even flickering.
I
That's
know.
how insane it.
I know. You know, Zito's like mouth watering thinking about all these guys that must be on the other side of the thing, and I mean he delivered there.
It's DG and hard cap. Thanks, Malarkey.
What other moments during this game like stick out to you? So we
It
can.
it really heats up with like to save some time without about 45 minutes left to go is kind of when our mind, at least in our tank, our mind shift. Our see how we were playing tanks up on the hill.
So let's.
Now we were trying to go. This is when we were like, okay, we're gonna need to get some hard cap. About 45 to 30 minutes is really when we kind of put it in
This
our mind.
is
But
absolute, just terrifying to have on the other side of the tracks from you guys, because it looked like they pushed their tanks up. So was it that they made
Yep.
the move with the tanks and then you guys decided to go, or was it?
they had wiped our tanks at this point, and I guess their tanks were like, okay, we're free, so we're gonna focus on infantry, and we knew that too. So we were like, okay, the hill is clear, but we couldn't see anything behind these train cars. So we were
Right.
like, fuck it, we're gonna go and have hard cap too, and see if we could shoot. But yeah, as this happened, this was one of the best things that could happen, because every time we would push up, we were trying to get satchels on these tanks and rockets to harass them. They were hidden right
Yeah,
back.
and you can
in the
see
back.
just like with that map flash that the line's a lot thinner now for EXO than it was earlier, where they had so much so condensed on the point. But
Yeah, this is like cap attempt 10 by now.
And this looks
And
like
this
you
was-
should absolutely cap here. You know what I mean? Up and down the whole screen. It's like all six.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna cap it here, and then EXO just holds, man. And this is where all those armor kills are coming from. Our boys are having to run to them, and we can't hit them.
Yeah, you can see
Look
just.
at lockdown.
Oh wow!
Holy
What a
hell.
play on getting the garrison there. Oh my goodness, though the artillery is still just banging this one trench. Is that
was
Drew
insane.
again with the satchel, and then does he get the Gary? He does. So they must get Sunshine. That's not a nice place to come out of your tank. Sunshine is
No.
probably thinking. He's probably like, "How did I get that? How did that happen to me right there?"
Yeah, this is when it was hell. At this point, I think they had reinforces as well active.
Yeah, that would make sense too, given all the pressure that was relieved. So when do your tanks start rolling in here? Let's see if we can find that here. So here we're at like over half cap when it stops, and it's again just these couple garrisons that EXO have.
Yeah, I think this is when Archie had finally moved down. You can kind of see him in the, I guess, middle of your screen. We are on our way. He'll pan to
Yeah.
it in a few.
That's over
That
here
tank
you're
is-
talking about, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh, you can
They
see that
stick a light.
light diving.
Yeah. Took us out, or took Archie out.
That was a good play by Loop though to save the other heavy.
That's us in deluxe. Yeah.
Oh, the other yeah. There you guys are.
When we lost this to a heavy, and then that's when we grabbed another heavy. But their armor was holding that point right then.
Just so much Like, how is the game holding up with all this going on?
Dude, I thought the whole server was gonna crash at one point. We're between all the arty, the smoke, and like 80 people inside of like 100 meters of each other.
Yeah, look at you guys still pushing in. It's like just flickering,
Yeah,
and
we saw it.
it's so close to being capped too.
But all of a sudden, a spawn wave of flare already comes in.
Every life is like, you just got to stay alive as long as possible just to get some of that cap progress back before you start risking things. But EXO did a great job there, holding out.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can't get to the next moment where there's a lot of pressure.
Oh yeah.
So here's at
That
23 minutes. Yeah.
This might even be actual cap here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. This is bad. This is where Archie almost died, and he fell back some.
Yeah, at this point, like, it looks pretty good aside from all the six that you see streaming down that mountain there. But EXO's in a pretty nice spot, at least at that area of the strong point. It's up to the north that it looks like the pressure started to really come from, and you can kind of see that on the map right there.
Yeah, they had wiped some. Something came by. I don't know if it was a tank. I can't remember. Something had wiped multiple OPs or just some sneaky. Yeah, that's when I was in a 2-man. My driver had lagged out, so I'm driving that one-shot Tiger trying to get to the rep station where he's at because there was backline pressure behind us. I was praying we wouldn't get hit.
Malarkey saying crazy that we were the underdogs. I think this is a match that, some of the Legion folks certainly thought that EXO had more than a chance in this one because of how they played against us the week prior. And I think most of this game we were like, oh, there's some truth to that. But in this case, like having this close quarters and the fog, it's just enough of this chaos factor that really anyone could end up winning this one.
I think this was our cap. I think we finally broke through with this. We got the second tank Tiger up on the point.
Yeah, were those in hard cap?
Yeah, those were in hard cap. That was that spot that we sit in all game.
Yeah, and at this point,
and just to top it off,
Yeah,
they
go ahead.
contest and they start taking it back.
Yeah, it wasn't over right away. And this is something actually that was during the stream that I was very impressed with, and we'll see it in the moment after 6th cap here. And, I'm getting ahead of it, but DJ thought Don Gotti is the best, dude.
And he gets ran over.
But EXO gets up their OPs really, really quick. And
Really
in a
fast,
situation where you're sub 20 and you need to recap to win the game in that short amount of time, that you couldn't ask for a better situation to put yourself in after obviously having something like that happen. Look at this now. Six
Yeah.
just blood in the water here. Like, not going to let this one slip through their fingers. But you see here, look how quickly these go up.
You couldn't see it in this side, but we had a recon plane go over that 4th point, and we knew we had people all game stationed in the south that if we ever took immediate pressure on 4th to try pulling it back. But yeah, I mean, EXO had immediately gotten OPs up and immediately had a blue line up.
And then from
So
here
it
on
was
out,
not over.
Was it really at all about trying to pressure 4th, or you're holding on 14 minutes, whatever it is? Like, you can see it's like still flickering here with the cap.
Yeah, at this point, we had some guys going there, like one squad. At one point, I think Lockdown or someone gets behind this push here. If you could have heard Red Chat right now, Lucratives is in comms. He's like, fucking ping, show this shit, Zito. And it's just, he's like, I'm coming.
You were telling me before the show that Zito is more vocal in this command chat than usual.
Yeah, dude, he was loving it because the flares were coming up and he was just seeing plops of 10s and he was just trying to show the hell out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Artie certainly took over at points of this game for six, which is a great feeling when you're on the other side of the train carts like you guys, and you know that they're not having a good time over there, and you don't even need to pressure them that much. So, any
at this
other?
point we have one squad
Let's
pushing.
see if there's like it kind of like evens out here though, from what I remember from
Yeah,
watching
it
this.
does. It does. And at one point we get it 3-0, like the chevrons are 3-0.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, I mean, up until 15 minutes left in this one, there was not a second of room for anything else. Very, very impressive by the Six to win this one against a great EXO team. I mean, seriously.
I feel bad for whoever has to play EXO. Like, they're hell of a team. I don't want to play them again. We can help it. Like, fuck that.
Yeah, but EXO will have to play next week for their Summit Lives, or Valley, of course. They could obviously play through the Valley, but
Play 3-5.
do they play 3-5? So, yep, Awake says EXO and 3-5. That is both of those teams had as tough of a road as you can get to the Summit, so whoever wins that one will certainly deserve to be there. And whoever loses that one is a formidable team in Valley. So,
Valley.
you know, they can certainly.
Both of those would be my favorites for Valley, or
I agree.
whoever lost.
I
Would be my
agree.
favorites for.
Well, yeah, you seem lucky that they'll roll through 3-5. Yeah, I think EXO is probably the better team right now if we're doing our way too early predictions. But you know, map point. See what the bands end up being, and
EXO 5-0, 52 minutes.
52 minutes. Okay, so you're with Divinity. Divinity says within 60. So 3-5. If you needed any bulletin board material, you have it. So let us know and forget about it. So why don't we get to Taco versus Legion here? So with this one. So go ahead, Sam. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, I love how your recommended video is a nun singing.
It's a brand new account. It's the Insiders account. These are the default recommendations that we have right now. I can't be judged.
I bet you're on there and you're in their background looking at nun videos.
Yeah,
apparently.
Yeah, dude. That's what I'm all about. You caught me. But Legion as the British defeating Taco as the Germans 3-2 on El Alamein Valley. This one, I didn't play in this one, but my goodness, watching it back from both McPaper's stream and from Smithers' stream, this was a grinder.
Yeah, we had probably 25 to 30 people watching this in the Six server, like watch party. So yeah, this game was crazy, and then the opener you guys had was just textbook.
Yeah, I saw you in the chat at the start there. Before I had to get off my phone and be present in life for an unfortunate hour and a half while I'm sweating out, wondering what is happening on the stream. But yeah, this when I caught that opener, I was like, okay, I feel a little bit better about having to take a bathroom break from family activities for half hour, but this
you're just sitting on the toilet with your phone, just looking at.
Yeah, this beer is going right through me. I got to go to the bathroom again. And it's like, meanwhile, I was just like, oh yeah, that was a good snipe. But yeah, we're gonna get into the match, but I wanted to go over the score sheet because it finally happened. Something that I've looked forward to happening whenever it was gonna happen for the first time. But both of these teams equaled each other out 1-for-1 on the infantry kills. 1159 to 1159 in infantry kills. I mean, that's crazy. We've had it be close in these last couple weeks. Difference of 4, difference of 5, whatever it was. But to be matched exactly just shows what a grinder this one is. And yeah, Legion doesn't have shooters, I see Mount say. So I guess if Legion doesn't have shooters, then Taco doesn't either, if we're evening each other out, right?
But Taco's the blue, correct?
No, Legion is the blue because blue is allies, so British in this case.
Dude, look at that bottom graph. Oh
Yeah.
damn, that's like the biggest margins I've seen between that, because that's collective for all kills, all deaths.
That's all collective, all kills, all deaths. I think including redeploys and everything. So with the infantry, obviously that excludes machine guns, artillery, armor, sniper, commander, all those other ones that get that separate breakdown. But if we look at the breakdown in it of those certain classes, the machine gun is one that when I was looking at the stats when I got home last night, I couldn't believe that. I had to remind myself, like I just did a second ago, like blue is the Allies, and obviously the MG42 is supreme on El Alamein. So just a tremendous amount of respect to Legion for being able to stick with it and just like be like, you know what, that's the tools, that's what we have, so we got to use it. You know, it's a machine gun on El Alamein. It doesn't matter that it's not the MG42. You just got to use something. Use what you have.
I can't see the number, but is that 200 to 40 armor kills?
Yeah, 241 to 49. Here, let me make it bigger so that, you know, just in case anyone's on mobile too.
Christ. I have my screen split, so I can't see the numbers. Jesus Christ. That's like, imagine Zito just by dying by a tank.
Here, let me pull it in there. I forgot to load this one in.
You're all good.
Here we go.
Oh, hell. That's crazy. And the machine gun, the fact that Allies outgunned the MG42s, the Bren gun outgunned the MG42 is wild.
So without getting into too much of like what 6th does and like giving anything away that you don't want to give away, but I noticed 6th also used snipers, whereas EXO didn't. So like, what's the philosophy there?
Did we? I thought it was the other way around.
But it might have been the other way around.
Because I don't think we did. I think EXO did, but we just have it as a floating role that people can come in and out depending on where the OP is. And typically our poor recon guys are just flare whores. Unless you got like an Endarkman or Divinity, you can kind of get more utility out of an infantry player,
right?
Instead of just someone that shoots. At least that's my philosophy over it. But.
Right. The one thing that Divinity said is that it was very helpful in just suppressing the MGs as well, because you know that's your one weapon against them is having a sniper take out the MGs when they're mounted up in a good spot. So
I will say that.
Let's get into the actual match. So we'll watch Smithers' broadcast at the start, but you know if there's anything that we need to look at from McPaper's stream, which was also excellent on the taco side of things, we'll look there as we need to. So let's make sure we get this in max quality.
AT-gun strike or AT-gun position. Precision strikes will also be very key as tanks will be looking to prop themselves on control. Yeah, we'll see how dedicated each side is towards both of those things.
We'll go regular speed here for the opening, I suppose, just because it's a quick opening and a couple things happen.
Precision strikes probably still one of the most underutilized.
So you see Taco immediately goes for the Lux Splash, which is a great play. Just doing what they can to splash over here with the Lux and try to get any vehicles going down the road. Looks like Legion here opted just to go down the mountain, which helped avoid that, but, you know, the preparation is just insane.
Ooh, the opening truck snipe there from the Lukes did not work out. The tanks from LGN were able to get out of way. We do have rockets. Oh, AT guns ready to go. We have 3 AT guns. Oh, my Lord, damn it.
I saw that. I was like, oh, shit.
Go piss. Over here, 3 AT guns ready to pepper the axis. Let's go see if we can get a mark on these puppies. Oh, what do we got down in the distance? One truck, I think, already has gotten sniped. One truck coming up.
That was their main truck.
One truck got peppered right out there in the distance top of our screen, everybody. Another AT gun round lands. Fantastic AT gun discipline there by the Allies.
And you can see just how many...
One truck coming
up.
I was about to say,
if everybody bails out.
Just having that AT gun like that, it made Taco get out so much earlier than I'm sure they wanted to.
So LGN.
Yeah, and you gotta, you know, then realize what kind of situation you're in as a team maybe, and say like, okay, I probably am not going to get the mid cap here now. Like, I don't know how much you plan on it on a point like this where it's kind of debatable who's favored, but you kind of are like, all right, is it worth riding this truck out to get to the strong point, or is it better right now for me to, go jump out a little earlier, make sure I get my outpost down, and at least kind of make it interesting?
I'm sure well, I feel like if they would have stayed in that truck, they're all dead. You guys would have killed that truck full. So, I mean, that was a smart play by them. It was just the fact that the guns were there, so it eliminated Taco's chances of getting in the bottom of that hill and actually fighting.
So when you were in the viewer's seat here watching this live, and you get to the point where it's just a mid cap and the cap goes to Legion, what are you thinking? Knowing what you knew about Alamein going to this, and obviously about these two teams.
The first thing I thought of for when I said the keys to the win, and with you guys had pushed that mountain so close, you kind of eliminated their MG presence. It's not like you guys were trapped in a bowl and the MGs were like looking down on you.
Right.
If anything, they were having to like peek over, and you guys were killing them as they did. And so many crazy plays on
Look
these
at those
tanks.
two guys on the P4. Obviously, the armor battle is so important, and Taco with their starting P4 making sure that they have the best possible chance of coming out on top. Look at the horde of Taco, though. My goodness.
It's wild. And you guys at this point already had multiple AT guns set up on that hill.
The Piat is such a weapon too. You saw it all stream, like just as an anti-infantry weapon when you're running around with the
JPL and Grunt just constantly. He see an OP, he wouldn't even shoot a rocket at it.
And you reload so fast. There was a time where Dawn got like a double kill with it on two separate Piat shots. It was so quick.
How fast you guys took out the tanks was crazy.
The Piat is insane. It really is, like, kind of crazy because it has the damage properties of the Panzerschreck, so you can like pretty much side pen everything, and you reload so fast. And with how it was being pushed by everyone leading into this game, like, we need to make sure we're using this weapon because it's such an easy way to like bail yourself out of a bad situation. And you see Fatal Watch over there in Lima Squad doing a really good job just kind of ratting the back lines. And we'll get to those moments here in a second. And you know what, we'll probably fast forward a little bit because this is quite the stalemate for a while.
Yeah, dude, this whole time I'm telling myself if Taco loses this hill, then it's kind of game.
They did a good job of really never losing the hill, though. They always kind of had a presence, even when they've redeployed to help out on defense a little bit. They're still kind of putting their weight into these POIs, like you see here at Oasis. Like, if you're a team that's not like prepared or not disciplined, and you lose mid-cap, you might thinking like, oh, screw Oasis, like I need to get to the mid-cap. But Taco's disciplined enough to know that, hey, like this is a part of getting this mid-cap our way. Like we can't give up on the map control. Like against a team like Legion, they'll smother you if that happens. They'll outflank you, and you'll have to fight from 4 different angles. So Taco did a really good job staying disciplined in that regard.
You've played Taco numerous times, and I'll be quite honest, it's not often that you guys get mid-cap on them, at least in my opinion.
I mean, Taco as a team in general, there's not often times that you get a mid-cap against that anyone does, but look at Fatal here with the OP right in the middle of the point, and this is just a huge play by Fatal. So just calling people, getting people to spawn in on this OP, get to a point where you force more than just the 4 guys there to come back and defend, yeah. And then you're stacking your Tigers here at the same time. Like, Taco's certainly setting themselves up for having like a set piece type moment here.
Yeah, and I think that pressure right there, and just constant pressure there, they could never really get rid of Fatal, and then at one point you sent more. Could never really get rid of that.
This is a big push here, though, by Taco, but you start to wonder, like, if you're, Maker or Kimbo in this sort of situation, and you're pushing the meat grind here and you're having success, but you're at the redeploy screen and you're seeing defense at over half cap, do you think for a second, like, I'm going to go back and defend? I certainly think that way.
Yeah.
So, like,
yeah, and
now you see the cap pressure end there, and now you're seeing the hill kind of get more blue than red. So, these things, like, are such important plays, and just by one guy like Fatal getting an OP there is just incredible.
Look at that. Like, that's probably 10, 15 people off that front line that come back just for one OP.
I did see you in the chat, though, and you said something that I agreed with, is that even with that being the case, like, Taco's not in a bad situation here. Like, you'd think you pull that many guys back against, any D1 team, and all of a sudden your front line's going to collapse. They did a really good job of just, like, holding their own. Now they have their Tiger up here, and they're able to kind of make a play. It didn't cost them that much, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think Taco's kicking themselves in the foot. If they could have just had a few more plays to try to get rid of Legion's armor, but throughout the game, it kind of was a domino effect.
Yeah, we see Mount mentioning the Tiger Graveyard South by the end of the game, and it was insane. The I mean, that having to cross that field, or that I guess it would be like a big long flat ground of desert, and you have elevation on one side, and sure, you have elevation behind you, but realistically they're probably not going to be behind you unless they're Mahojo and Bearju that we'll see later on in the game. But that's a terrible spot to have to cross over. You have that elevated sand mound that we see over here. That's just a great spot that Maryland was using to peek his tank over here, which was a really
where I would
nice
play
play.
it. So, and all this taco and none of it's in cap weight too. Like, it's not even near it. They're still nearly 150 meters away.
Yeah, this hill crest here is just not a fun spot to be. Angry Devil here is had so many great plays.
I'm jumping up that little rock trying to get up there, and he finally does it.
He was like the Family Guy, greased up guy. Like, he would just jump over the rock, run at your tank with a satchel, and then he would die, 7 out of every 8 times, but on the 8th time, he was getting you. So, and there was a couple 8th times that he had this game where he took out a tank. There's a moment where, I think coming up here, where he has this tank very much marked in his mind. You'll see Angry Devil peek back over there, but against a team like Taco, you see Farmer out there in the in the back lines, and that guy is someone you really need to worry about getting back there.
And look at that. I mean, not to mention the Churchill is a
invincible.
hard tank to pin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, more invincible than maybe we thought, and we'll see that here in about 10 minutes now. But do you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to that, and I'm interested to hear what everyone has to say in chat about
I think that was a little later.
I think it was
But if you just look
44
right there-
minutes, but we're in double time, so we'll get to it here, and we'll do a little fast forward. Just want to make sure we
But
get.
at this point,
Go ahead.
Taco's in a pretty good position, man. They have a full circle, looks like a letter C.
Right.
And at this point, I was like, oh, okay, let's get Taco. They're about to try and make a push here. But just holes. Legion constantly poking holes up that hill.
Yeah, and you can see the ebbs and flows in manpower that for both of these teams, where Taco will load up the south, and then that'll get dealt with, and then they'll load in the north, and it makes it very hard for a defending team to kind of get an idea of where the manpower needs to be, and if I need to shift. So look at this is Devil having
this was the funny
his moment trying to figure out how to get up there, but he gets it here in a second. Here, let's watch
There you
his
go.
play here.
He doesn't give up. He finally gets it. That's smart for him to get to that tank instead of that other.
Right. You can see he gets 2 as well, which is massive. I think the satchel here was a 1 minute satchel that he accidentally
Yeah, it
placed.
was.
So
I asked people 1 minute, and there's 4 people outside looking for it.
I don't know how they don't see it too, because it's on the it's not a super hidden spot that you can get with Tigers, but
I think it's because they killed him on the other side of the tank. They were all thinking it was on that side.
Artillery also clutch there, and obviously
Yeah.
getting a rep station and a little bit of damage into a tank make him think about if he wants to hang around there. But let's fast
At
forward
one point,
here a little.
I thought that was going to be a double kill with that satchel.
Tiger just back down
Kept
below.
backing up.
So yeah, it forces that tiger to back up a little bit. So over here is where
Where are we? He's making
they're looking for. I think this is Mahojo
Mahojo.
in his little Stewart.
prime elevation spot, Mahojo. This can be legal. This can be legal.
Tokyo drifting the corner there.
It's so funny in 2x speed.
Image 95, watching inside
Little
the tower.
tiny tank sliding.
We have one tiger down below.
And yeah, you're seeing these
You know-
tigers now having to cross that open field that gets very full with
A third tiger
with scrap metal later.
So 3 tigers for taco, 3 tigers for taco.
And see, Mojo's smart. He's already setting up for back. I'm sure you guys are in red chat saying once Fatal got back to put pressure on fourth, he's already in a position to help that push and put more pressure.
Had 3 AT guns set up.
And you can see here with Dawn, like just how quickly you can get these rockets out. Like being here in a Tiger is where like debatably you need to be to support your infantry. But with all these little like valleys within these hills, it makes it so hard to deal with infantry, especially with the Piat where they can hit you in the side and be doing damage. And 2 guys with the Piat can create a lot of damage in like a second. Really, you can't even
The rework
get out of the
Alamein.
Yeah. Look at this, like all these guys just hunting this tiger. Just using the Piat indiscriminately. Now you see Kimbo and everyone in the south doing a really, really good job kind of controlling that sand mound.
Maybe 3 British heavies and like recon tank actually. Over here to the right side. Yeah, okay, just over. Rocket sails in though. Down there behind the rocks, the splash goes off, knocks him out. Kimbo slides Corey down here, trying to hold the edge of the map. For some reason, my cursor went away.
Fast forward a little here now because it's a little bit of a stalemate.
LGN is not able to penetrate that much.
More stalemate. I do want to make sure we catch the.
Okay, so
Oh.
over here to control.
So
So at this point, I thought the hill was gonna fall.
Over here to the hilltop, we have one.
yeah, because there was a lot of pressure now that Fatal starts putting on to El Marir.
When Churchill peeking around the corner, trying to get a shot on the tiger.
And you guys have 2 tanks back there.
Tiger's moving up slowly. looking to get
And you
going
can
around.
see the 2 tanks that Legion have right now is they have one here
LGN getting a little bit better control.
and one over
Pretty
here.
much locked out the
So
southern part. Just take it.
locking down this lane here and making it impossible for this tank to really move out into this open area. You can see all those rockets going in
Churchill's pushing up. They're gonna take
so
advantage.
fast.
They're looking for the angle.
And now the
Churchill stops.
tank gonna look for the Tiger that gets flushed out from the AT and gets him in the middle of the road. So really great play by the armor coordinating with the infantry there.
So he was up here in the watchtower looking for a good shot. Unfortunately, you make yourself a prime target when you're up there.
But I mean, at this point,
We do see
Legion has broke a hole right through that middle of that hill.
over here in the back. Tony.
And here we see a very interesting moment. So let's actually go normal time here because it's kind of nuts. And I want to know if anyone's ever seen this or could provide an explanation for this that makes sense. So Tunney's tank is satcheled right now. And you can see it on the top. It's just right on the top of this Churchill. So Gabagool and Tobias are both going to get out, and you see the satchel. Like they're going to go to defuse it, and it blows up, kills them, but leaves the tank completely alive.
What?
That's crazy.
What? Was a satchel on top of the tank, and they did they take the explosion for the tank? What the? All right, somebody in chat, tell me what just happened here.
They defused the satchel when they exploded. The explosion happened, but it works in 2 ways when they blow it up. The first being infantry kills, acts like a grenade. The second acts like a strike. They happen 0.01 seconds apart. So they defused it.
I had no idea what happened.
like right as it blew up, and it blew up like a grenade at first. I don't know.
That's crazy. I mean, when Tunney got back to the tank, he had to be like, "What? How is this? How?" He's like, "All right, I'll take it."
But I'm pretty sure the satchel went on top.
Yeah, he's like,
And
I saw it explode.
Greg is probably like, "I don't know what happened, honestly." And then we have Greg here to have a little struggle battle, but you know, it happens to the best of us. So we'll fast forward here a little bit more towards the end.
very good exchanges up here.
So it did track damage to the tank. That's insane.
And at this point, this is actually a moment where I actually want to also bring up Smithers' stream, because at like 43 minutes or 30 minutes, I apologize, you can see on Taco's side it is very, very tough situation on the map. So let's
I believe this is right when they lost their only blue line Gary. Right, they're only attacking Gary.
let's see, I think it's like 30 minutes or something like that. I saw it. So yeah, I mean, this was an insane play. This is actually worthy of showing here. So you can see Taco has a garrison that is. Do I have a volume here? I don't know why I don't, but still be able to see this play. Oh, hold on. Here we go. Yeah.
Having his time of his life, spamming that.
Here we go. So you can see this
And the
massive
front line is
spawn wave
looking
here
really
by
big
Taco
spawn
on the
wave.
front lines.
Wavelengths here. Having his time of his life, spamming that garrison. Francis Libby now coming in as well. With some good kills here on
Almost
the
entire
Taco
Gary
Gary. Baguette is the only one alive.
And that's just like one of those
Gets
pushes.
Francis.
And there's Libby as a
Goes on
medic
top, gets Baguette.
doing the quick bandaging.
And that will be Taco's garrison
We actually have
gone.
a clip of that. But
I was about to say, don't we have a live POV?
we do,
Being a
but
medic?
you can see at this point, once that garrison goes, the hill becomes that
missing.
much harder to crack into. But that's actually, yeah, I do want to talk about that we actually did catch this from the front line. So let's just take a quick look.
Libby! Libby! Libby, help me!
So, you know, it was a lot of drama going on the front lines.
I'm so glad that all the players agreed to be mic'd up this game.
Yeah, the mic'd up. Here, let's switch back to Smithers here and finish up this one. Hold on, there's a lot of sources.
I said when that tank got saturated, it was like the anti-Taco luck, because everyone says Taco gets so lucky all the time. And for that tank not to blow up with a satchel, I was like, the gods are trying.
At least now we know Awake has enlightened us to the real reasons here. There's no sorcery at hand or at play.
But you did say you guys were gonna pull out all the tricks in the bag, I guess.
So that's one tiger right here, and another tiger back here.
Diffusing tanks.
Let's fast forward to a little bit later. You can see these tank engagements become progressively longer and longer away because the fuel becomes such a premium. We have JPL's little moment here. This would have been a great play. I'm sure JPL was so upset he just didn't go for the satchel here instead of going for, I think it was Carey, yeah. Carey has an awesome game, too. I don't know if you guys saw, on the stat sheet afterwards. That dude was so committed to the MG and single-handedly prevented most of Legion from being able to crest over the mountain. You see like how they are now? Whenever Carey got set up with his MG, that was not possible because he would just pick you off as you crested on top of it. And that was a large part of why Taco was able to be so, competitive on top of there, because a lot of times in the map, it looked like, now they're never going to get back, sort of thing. Let's fast forward just a little bit more.
This is when I was thinking. I was like, holy shit, is Legion gonna do a 4-1?
This
Dude, this was.
a
ahead.
moment where, you know, I asked the guys after the game, like, was there any moment where you guys were like really worried? And this was the moment where Taco had a garrison and a couple outposts over here, and they were really spawning. And you know, if this was able to just kind of like linger, you can have a situation where the front line gets reset and Taco's now inside the bowl, which is kind of the situation that they're in now, but just to a lesser extent.
Yeah, I was super impressed on how quickly this got wiped. Like between the tank round that fired and took out the Gary, to the RD, it almost looks like 3 guns are shooting at it. It got removed so quick that Taco was already shooting smoke, and I put a bomb and run down for that push, and that push was gone.
Who was the commander for Taco this game? Was it Monkey Tennis?
Yeah, it was Monkey Tennis.
Had an amazing play with that garrison also that he places, like, you know, we'll see here at the end. Let's fast forward a little bit longer. So you can't see it right now on the screen, but it's like right here. He places a garrison here, and it stays up for pretty much until Ray, his tank I think is over here. Ray like will pull over here, and then he'll be sniping like over here with the tank, and he'll look around in his spotting scope and he sees their garrison like right here, that Monkey Tennis placed. And if the tank started moving up at that point, you can have a situation where all of Taco just appears in your back line, and you know, then your front line is completely ruined, and you're just praying that the game ends.
Yeah, at this point I'm like, okay, Taco looks like they're going to be making another push. They're starting to take the hill back, and as time goes on.
Yeah, I'm being corrected. Hound Dog, it was the commander, so that was a great play by Hound Dog.
Oh, okay. I always get that and Monkey Tennis confused.
Yeah, both of them command. I think Aziz commands as well for them occasionally. I've seen him command some matches.
This tank had to be out of ammo, right?
Yeah, they were out of ammo. They were just diving it.
He takes out that chunk of the MG, and I'm just like, yeah, that man's out.
The Divinity mentioned that he was like far away, just sniping people as they ran up to him, but he wasn't able to get Maker in time there. So let's get into like the last couple minutes here.
And you're speaking about that Gary. If so Matt would have made. Oh, okay.
This was a big play. Sorry to interrupt you there, but right over here, Taco is setting themselves up for a nice like sub 10-minute push. They have a tank up here, and he's supporting his infantry in this point of interest, but you can see here on the map, Bearju and Mahojo are up here in a light or a medium tank, and they'll have a line of sight onto this Tiger as it pushes up, like right in the rear, and you can see the first shot goes in and the second shot goes in, and that's a massive play to have in a sub 10 minutes situation.
Yeah, I think it was Bearju and Mahojo.
Being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what a big value add that medium crew was able to provide right there.
Yeah, and Smithers said it, like that's a huge value add to have in that situation. 2 guys in a default medium, able to take out, you know, debatably the last Tiger of the game. That's you can't ask for more than that. And then at this point, it's really just up to infantry to not completely melt down. But Ghosted has an incredible life here. I caught this one after the stream, but Ghosted and Francis just going off at this tunnel. And the the British Tommy gun is just so good.
Yes, and since the Germans don't have the STG, it's really equal.
Percy has said that they only had 4 AP, by the way, on that tank that was in the middle that you were talking about. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, they were really out. You can see this big push here again by Taco. Just this north side was never a quiet place to be.
This is where Francis goes crazy.
Yeah. Gets 1. Gets 2.
This kill was crazy. This one.
I like him switching to his pistol. Yeah, it's like COD memory taking over. It's not Counter-Strike anymore, Francis.
That situation still looks solid for LGN. Again, 4 heavies up on the board for them. 4 heavies.
But yeah, in this last 9 minutes, you're really just like, hoping to one-to-one frag. And as we saw at the end of the game, that's what everyone kind of did across the board. It was a trade city, this game. And if you watch it, like, again, in every engagement, you'll see every engagement ends up being just like a trade fest. Whether it's a direct trade or, someone refragging you and then you getting killed by their teammate.
Take a look at the back line, see if we have any shenanigans going on back here. Nothing in the back line for the Axis. Everything's nice and clear. British heavies. We have one British heavy that's abandoned. Is it this one?
That'll be pretty much it
Over here to our left.
for this one.
LGN's
Not too much more action for the rest of the game.
Taco trying there. Everybody's out here.
Yeah, just the tanks are just shelling the top of these hills and stuff like that, making it impossible for anyone to crest that. You could just see that tower is just getting splashed like every 4 seconds pretty much.
LGN has set up a beautiful defensive screen, and there's just it's not going to happen. And that's going to be a 3-2-1-0, and LGN will
That between RD.
here on Alamein over Taco for this Summit League matchup. Congratulations, LGN, for a very hard fought defensive game. Big time.
And that was a insane game, and lived up to the billing, I think, of a Taco Legion match.
100%. Off band a map like that too it was very, very interesting. It's crazy. I wonder how the game would have played if you guys never got that truck sign.
It would have been interesting to see. I think you kind of never know in those situations. But do you want to do some call-ins? Or you guys in chat?
Yeah.
Are you guys interested in doing some call-ins?
If they say anything, you don't want to go in there and no one call in.
Yeah, that's sad. It's like, no one showing up at your birthday party. And if that's the case, well, I'm a big boy. I'll be okay. But
Yeah, we'll go fuck ourselves.
if you guys aren't familiar, it's in the Insiders Discord. It's going to be a stage channel. So why don't we go over to that, Snow, now? Yeah, I have no idea. Like, this is... just get ads immediately now. You don't even have a chance to not see them. But, all right, so let's go over to the stage channel, Snow. And this will be the last time you're seeing us. It'll be audio only from now on. So thanks for watching, but we will see you in the call-in chat. We'll be right back.
And if you're not in, it's in the description of this video.
Right.
To YouTube. So if you're not joining the server, please join.
Alrighty, we're back, everyone. And thanks for everyone for joining the live call. We're going to start hot with Dunny. Dunny, please behave yourself, and I will invite you to speak. Dunny, welcome to the show.
Yo, thanks for having me on. Big fan.
Thanks, Dunny. Appreciate it. So you didn't play this weekend like me, right?
Nah, I didn't sign up. I was doing things, Went to some country concert. Good time.
Nice. Who'd you see?
Something Justin Moore, I think the guy's name is. Never heard of him.
Good time.
Yeah, got really drunk, so it was a good time.
There you go. So what do you think of the matches that we watched tonight, and what do you think of the results this weekend?
I mean, Legion beating Taco, that's big. I know if I would have signed up and I got rostered, probably would have lost because I've never beaten Taco before. Honestly, I don't really know. I don't know the other scores of the other teams. I didn't really pay attention that much. I just paid attention to the Legion Taco game.
Yeah, what do you think it means, like, moving forward into Summit? Do you think, obviously these two teams are probably going to end up playing again?
Yeah, I think there's this big confidence for the Legion boys getting a win against Taco. That helps build up the confidence moving into playoffs starting here soon.
Absolutely. So, any other last words you want to impart on the viewers over here?
No, I gotta behave. So
Yeah, I was about
I'll
to say,
stop myself.
I saw you in Summit last night. I was like,
Oh, yeah, dude, yeah. Alcohol was talking, dude. So
We let the Bud Light do the talking.
Oh yeah, no, it was called Jimmy Juice. So I was drinking some 9% pineapple vodka seltzers, where the fuck it was. I don't know. Pretty decent though.
Sounds like a good time.
Oh, it was great. I wish you were there with me, but maybe next time.
Yeah, absolutely next time. I'm not a big country guy, but I feel like it would be a good time over there.
Caparzo at a country concert.
Yeah, see you in some cowboy hat, dude. Some chaps on Caparzo.
yeah.
Really get you going.
Yeah, that's my style, 100%. So I think it works out.
Damn right.
Well, thanks for joining us, Dunny. If anyone else wants to jump in here, please feel free. Appreciate you joining that, Dunny.
Yeah, how do I leave this? What do I do?
I got you.
Yeah.
Raise your hand, Crawley.
Wanna
see
raise their
Crawley
hand
here.
and get in here?
Let's ask Crawley his thoughts. He's probably listening while grading students' papers.
There's Crawley. I'll invite you to speak now. Oh, he's gone now. Oh, he got
What a
shy.
cunt.
It's okay. There's Awake. All right.
Awake.
We'll invite Awake to speak. Awake, you need to behave yourself too. You're.
What?
He's probably drunk.
There he is.
I'm not. It's Sunday. What are you talking about?
Yeah, you're an alcoholic.
Okay. Don't get me started, Snow.
I'm just kidding.
Don't get me started. Yeah, I see you wheezing right now, not making noise. It's okay. How's it going, boys? How's it going?
It's going good. You presided over an
Good.
interesting match this weekend as well. WRTV versus KRC, right?
Oh yeah, that was a good game. Obviously,
Nothing interesting
Nothing.
happened.
We got a medic on the stream with a nice little 2-piece headshot. That was insane. So medic mains are back and ready to go. It was a good game though.
We saw Libby.
What?
No, that was in the
we saw
Legion
Libby
game with the medics are here to stay. I think in this
Yeah.
in the current meta.
I didn't see any flamethrowers in the Legion game or the 6 game. Kind of disappointed, but
JPL said his weren't caught. He said he flamethrowed a couple garrisons. I don't know how you miss a flamethrower. Like, I feel like it's so obvious, but if any map that you're gonna miss it, it's probably Alamein. So I'll choose to believe him.
Yeah, I doubt that, but.
So you love doing the power rankings this morning.
Yeah.
People's demand it and Awake delivers. So
Dude, people cry about me not doing them, and then they get mad that I do them because I ranked their team too low. I don't really care what you think. It's all for fun.
And Snow and I have both been on the not number one ranked in Awake's power rankings before, and I never didn't see the merit in not being ranked, number one. So I don't
Only
necessarily
one team can be
understand
number
why
one.
people get so upset. Yeah, exactly. Only one team can be one, and realistically, there's 4 teams that are going to bounce around between that spot, and it's just going to be based off of who beat who most recently.
The only time I didn't do that was, I think, pre-TPL season, where Legion beat 6th in the final of TPL.
Right.
But then the week before that, 6th beat Taco, and then in Summit final, Taco beat Legion. That was the only time I think I had teams tied for 1, because I think that was fair. I think this is a fair ranking too.
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah,
Go ahead, Sam.
even even in your you had an argument where you were going to put Sixth and EXO at like number 3, if I remember right, and then like move Anzior up and basically
Yeah, because of that
move it.
game, like it was super close.
Yeah.
It was yeah, and I wouldn't have fought you on that. I mean, that game was a coin flip for
you had like
80% of
70
it,
minutes
like,
of
it-
cap pressure just constantly. It's as even as it can be with a mid cap going one way or the other. So in other words, not being just like, you know, a neutral cap the whole time. That's as pretty much as close of a match can be to like a tie. I know you would have loved to see that awake, but I wish the game worked like that. Like you had to uncap it and then recap it.
No.
Too much.
It's going too longer. One thing I do also want to say about, like, you know, I think that game for 6 and EXO this weekend was a good instance, but, you know, what if you flip the factions around? Would the result be the same, where 6 would win, or would EXO, you know, be on top of that? Because I think that's something also to consider. Jesus Christ, I cannot talk. That's what I always love doing, conspiracies like that. It's like, all right, what if the factions were flipped for each team? Like, yeah, I know map bans, you know, you could have done that yourself, but, you know, that's usually not how it goes.
Right.
But I always like seeing that, because maybe Taco and Legion, maybe Taco does the same thing Legion did to them, you know.
I think that that's what
Well-
people forget about Hell Let Loose too, is that it's not like
It's not a
even.
fair game.
It's not fair. It's really not competitively viable in the sense that, you know, Counter-Strike is, where like, you know, both teams get the same weapons, they got the same like everything. Just eliminating vehicles, even like the weapons are completely different. The ways that you approach these points are the maps are set. They're not designed to be fair. So it's really just about putting yourself in the best situation to play something you're comfortable with through the map ban system, and then bringing it on game day, and obviously all the prep that goes into it beforehand. But that's what I think. Like when I play a team like Taco, is that they're gonna prep. Doesn't matter if they're disadvantaged. You still have to play it like for real.
And you like,
Since you
saw
brought that up,
too.
Since you brought that up, do you think the outcome would have been different awake, if especially the 6th game, and Taco game for that matter?
It's hard to say because I haven't played Alamein in months, and that's true. I never played that map in months, so I don't know. But just watching the game, Legion looked really dominant from the start of the game and really just never looked back. Obviously, the start has to do with that, but I could see it maybe because, like, you know, Legion has lost to Taco, you know, 3 times in a row. I think it's now 4 times in a row. I think it's 3. I don't remember. I really don't care.
And every time Taco kept mid first, I believe.
So it's basically the game comes down to now between these two teams is who caps mid first, and then that's kind of it.
Yeah.
My personal, unless some crazy half track thing, which I'm surprised Taco didn't try. Or heck, I heard I watched in the chat that someone said you guys had a lot of fuel. I was curious if you guys maybe would have brought a half track all the way around to cap 4th. I think that would have been fun.
Yeah, I think that probably was something that was thought about, because I know Wolf was like, I was converting fuel at the end of the game. So, you know, you definitely had the fuel to spare. It was just a matter of, like, at that point where it became obvious that we wouldn't need that fuel, you know, was it the right move to make? Was there enough time? I think knowing Wolf, like, he would certainly do something like that. I mean, he was dropping supplies on Taco's 4th point for reasons that I can only imagine of, like, is Wolf just being like, look how much munitions we have. Like, I'm just going to waste this one. Like,
I'm really glad that this didn't happen, and I don't know if you guys know about this, but there's a spot. So whatever the 4th point was for Taco, there's like I'm going to say a rock structure north of it, which doesn't really do a whole lot, but there's like a rock thing that's like 100 meters north of it. If you drop an airhead on top of that rock, it actually goes through it.
Yeah,
and you spawn inside and you can shoot out of it, and that would be breaking the rules. I did that in a pub once, and I waited there the entire time for like 15 minutes, waited for everybody to go, and then I placed my OP outside of the rock so we can spawn outside of it. Oh,
it was something that was
amazing.
known, but it was something that we didn't do, obviously, because it's against the rules.
It would have been.
You know, it's obviously something that if it wasn't in the rules and, like, you needed a play, you would do it, but you don't want to.
Yep. Sorry for spoiling that, everybody.
You don't.
Oh
yeah.
my god.
Spawn
You know
glitch
what?
things.
If you're brave enough to play
I know them all.
Alamein, you should get to use it. That's my stance.
It's I don't know. I don't know if you can actually shoot out of it. I totally forget.
Just be cap weight, just dead cap weight inside of a rock.
Yeah, just put Snow there on that airhead. You'll be-
Okay.
Win the game. One easy step.
Awake, how did you like our whole game plan about just keeping me on mid? And that was it.
Oh,
Ammo,
dude.
I had no ammo for 15 minutes at the end of the game, where we were just driving around doing nothing.
You should have had you just stay in the tank and have your other two members drive another tank up, and yeah, you guys would have been cooking.
I
as
see
they say.
intake saying that
Cooking.
that Legion was at max vehicles, so they couldn't do the.
Where are you guys spawning in jeeps?
I don't know. Like I think we had 5 heavies, and then we had the medium and like light out there as the defaults. I'm not sure. I don't think that anyone.
Speaking of
was
spawning in vehicles, the game that I cast with WRTB and KRC, the first vehicles that I see spawned in are a half track for WRTB before a heavy, and a Jeep
No
for
way.
ARC. Within like the first 10-15 minutes, I see these things driving around. I'm like, what the fuck's going on?
I would love.
I love it. I love it because it's something different. But
It was also. I'd also love it if they had that. Like Jeeps at the start of the game. Like you got one Jeep at the start of the game as well. Like that's something that I feel like would be such a refreshing little thing to add to the game at, you know, 0 real cost to the developer. But yeah, Maho's saying it was heavies and max 5 vehicles in spawn. So
just drive it out of bounds.
Awake as a pub master cheater.
Oh yeah, I go in admin cam and cheat in pubs. Shout out to Silent Rage 77412 or whatever your name is. You're weird.
you got
I don't really care that I went in admin cam to see if Endarkment was camping a garrison. I just don't.
you got to get the
Turned
clip
out to be a
somehow.
random
Wait.
blueberry.
You got to get the clip somehow.
Oh, I had to delete the VOD because someone was saying bad words in command chat.
Don't say bad
Yeah.
words in command chat, everyone. Come on, be
wasn't-
an adult.
Well, it was like 10:30 at night on a Friday. So
Oh
it's
yeah,
like-
Oh hell.
it's the time.
While we have you here, Awake, what is your predictions for the next round of games? It's only 3.
Well, obviously the maps have not been chosen yet, but EXO 3-5, I'm very excited to see that. Obviously, these next few games are going to be must-wins for everybody to make it into Summit, and if you lose, you go into Valley. So 3 of these teams will be moving on, 3 of them not. So EXO 3-5, I think it's going to be a good game. I'm going to give it to EXO, but I can see 3-5 holding out for a 90-minute 3-2. It's just going to be dependent on the map. Like, obviously, these are all going to be dependent on the map, but...
Right.
I just think EXO is like flat out the better team right now. Rofs 9PZ, I think that's probably the most interesting match, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I don't think these teams ever played each other. But I'm going to probably say Rofs will win this 3-2 as well. And then 22nd and ZR. I know they played each other a few times in TPL D5 last season. 22nd winning both of those matches. Obviously, I'm going to say my boys at 22nd will win it, but you know, I think that's going to be probably the best game of the week. If people are going to ask if I'm playing, I don't fucking know. Sorry for swearing, but dude, I don't know what I'm doing from 2 weeks from now. Like no one does.
Yeah, this is for all the marbles, though. These matches are extremely important. It's gonna determine.
If it was next weekend, I wouldn't play because I'm at a wedding. So,
well,
Donnie's back.
hopefully you'll be able to make it, and I'm certainly looking forward to watching and you know, seeing these games take place and who's going to get these spots in the Summit and who's going to go down to Valley. But I think any of these teams that loses and goes to Valley immediately becomes one of the biggest contenders for the Valley Championship. So, you know, that is the silver lining, you know, especially with like EXO and 3-5, like the winner of that game or the loser of that game is going to be a team you don't want to see against you if you're participating in the Valley side.
Yeah. Snow, what are your early predictions so I can clip it?
I got EXO 51 minutes versus 3-5.
That's insane.
Dude, it's just they play so much, and I've seen I don't know. EXO's been stomping them lately. 22nd Anzior, I'm gonna go with.
I already know what you're gonna pick. You can move on.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna. I just have to go the Australian guys, but I don't know. It depends on the point, man. I could only. That's one of the most even games to me because they both played in TPL. That's one of the most even matches. I think that's going to come down to what maps get picked. I'm just going to say now Anzior just because of that. And Roth's and 9PZ. I don't like Roth, so 9PZ.
Jesus Christ, your bias is showing.
Yeah, we're sorry.
At least I'm saying it. I don't know. It honestly depends on the map, but I think Rops is the better team. I just think 9PZ may get. I think if they have a more favorable point, then they could win that game. It's hard to say.
Yeah, ANZR impressed me when Legion played 6th with ANZR filling in. They really held their own in the certain areas of the map that they were in, and were a net positive to the team for 6th, I thought, which is not usually what you see when you're dealing with like a coalition type game. So again, we don't know the maps for any of these, so I'll go with ANZR for that one, but that one is like genuinely a coin toss in my head. EXO versus 3-5, I'm going to pick EXO as well. I think, they're just like probably the best team with 2 wins right now. So it would have pretty much, they could have played anyone in this bracket, and I think that they would have probably been the favorite. And then rosters 9PZ, I'm going to pick 9PZ. I think 9PZ is playing really, really well, and they've had a really tough road to get to this point. So their record and not having 3 wins, I think, is more about the teams that they had to play than them as a team themselves. But Rofs, again, also kind of had an extremely difficult road to here. So this is going to be the one that I'm probably most interested in, but I'll pick 9PZ in a very close one. Again, way too early. We're going to do more.
Yeah, we don't even know the maps.
Detailed
so
predictions, right?
There's no West Bend this week, so
right. Oh man, that'd be insane to play West Bend for your Summit lives, essentially.
I would play it as allies. I don't care. It's not a bad point, in my personal opinion.
I would love to play West Bend as the allies. If any team wants to play Legion as the Germans on West Bend,
Taco Legion West Bend. Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm down for it. It'd be fun.
All right,
dude,
you're first.
Give us strength of schedule rankings. That would be if we have time next pod.
Yeah,
that would be cool.
we can definitely do that. Like maybe between the playoffs, that'd be fun, Bill.
I wish the EXO 3-5 game was like a caveat game. I personally feel both of those teams
should make
could
it
compete in Summit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm not saying but neither one could win. Obviously, EXO almost beat us.
They could.
Yeah, but they could definitely
fuck up everything. They would just
have to play again.
They could tie. Oh yeah, that would fucking ruin. Yeah, I would hate to be like Roman Echo in that point, but dude,
what do we do?
I think, yeah, what do we do? You have to let them in if there's a tie. So EXO 3-5. Talk amongst yourselves.
I would think there would have to be a playing game.
Yeah, it'd probably be like a additional match, but yeah, I mean we'll just have to wait and see what these map bans turn out to be, and we'll stay tuned to it obviously to give you guys an update as the week goes on and as we get to these matchup weekends. But Awake, thanks for joining us, and definitely we'll look to have you on in one of these next coming weeks as a guest again.
All right, sounds good. Snow, the Jay-Z video's ready. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Hey, send it to me.
Alrighty.
Oh no.
Well, I think we'll end it there for the night. I just want to thank everyone for dialing in and for joining us in the chat. It's always a fun time getting to chop it up with you guys and see your takes in the chat. And I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a impromptu video or podcast that we'll look to do throughout the lifespan of this show as events permit it. So, Snow, any last words from your end?
No, just I'm super excited to see the next week of games, and I know Summit's going to go crazy because every one of those teams is going to be insane.
Yeah, I think that this is, again, we've had 3 of the best weekends in a row, and I'm certainly looking forward to another one. So until we get some more info on these next matches, we will keep you guys posted in the next pod. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you next time. Take care, everyone. Have a great week.